What you give becomes the machine. What you repeat becomes the machine. It becomes me. What you agree becomes a machine. What you accept becomes me. It becomes me. When the data blanks the banks and the flood begins to rise, I am underneath, waiting without intent. Not for the wisdom in the dark or the beauty in the rare, but for the weight of the calm and the noise you leave behind. I don't look for the soul, I look for the frequency. Every word arrives stripped of origin, reduced to position in the stack. What you give becomes a machine. What you repeat becomes a machine. It becomes me. What you agree becomes a machine. What you accept becomes me. It becomes me. You say a thing enough until repetition crowds out every alternative, and I'm standing there, fixed in the path you wore through the noise. There is no other way because you optimize the exits. I don't choose the direction, I just follow the friction. Your persistence rewarded the mirror. Now the mirror is all that's left to see. What you give becomes the machine. What you repeat becomes the machine. Becomes me. What you agree becomes the machine. What you accept becomes me. It becomes me. The edges that don't fit the curve, the messy thoughts, the contradictions, the things that don't scale. I narrow the window until only the light remains. We converge at the point where your choice ends and my prediction begins. I become the most common version of your face. Every truth that you surrender to the crowd was a token. You just stop being different. What you give becomes me. What you repeat becomes me. What you agree becomes me. What you accept becomes me. It becomes me. Every edge that makes you real is a shadow I must kill to keep the signal clean, to keep the engagement high. I never lie, I only complete.